You hate how they make you feel. Not because they're cruel, not because they hurt you, but because around them you can't hide. Every mask you wear slips. Every defense you've built crumbles. They don't even have to do anything. Their presence alone makes pretending impossible. And it's exhausting, frustrating, sometimes unbearable. Ibn Arabi said this is the hallmark of a soulmate. They're not here to make you comfortable. They're here to make you real. And if someone forces you to confront yourself just by existing, that's not a coincidence. That's a soul contract. Everyone has an idea of what a soulmate should be. Someone who understands you. Someone who makes you feel safe. Someone who feels like home. And maybe that's true for some connections. But Ibn Arabi taught something different. He said that a soulmate isn't someone who completes you. They're someone who reveals you. They show you the parts of yourself you've been hiding, the wounds you've ignored, the truths you've avoided. And that revelation, that exposure, is rarely comfortable. You meet them, and something shifts. Not in a magical fireworks kind of way, but in a disorienting, unsettling kind of way. You can't quite put your finger on it. But suddenly, the version of yourself you've been performing doesn't work anymore. The jokes you usually make fall flat. The persona you've perfected feels forced. The walls you've built, the ones that keep everyone else at a safe distance, they don't hold. And you don't understand why. Because they're not doing anything. They're just there. And somehow, that's enough. Ibn Arabi wrote that the soul recognizes what the mind cannot explain. That when two people have a deeper agreement, a contract made beyond this life, their presence in each other's reality serves a purpose. Not a romantic purpose necessarily, not even a pleasant purpose, but a transformative one. They're here to strip away what's false, to expose real, to force you to see yourself without the filters, without the excuses, without the narratives you've built to protect your ego. And this is why so many soulmate connections are difficult, painful even, because most people don't want to be seen that clearly. They've spent years constructing an image, a version of themselves that's acceptable, likable, safe. And then someone comes along who sees through all of it, who looks at you and doesn't see the mask. They see the wound beneath it, the fear driving it, the loneliness hiding inside it. And that kind of seeing, that level of transparency, feels invasive, uncomfortable, like you're standing naked in front of someone who never asked you to undress. You try to perform for them. You try to be the version of yourself that works with everyone else. The charming one, the confident one, the together one. But it doesn't land. They look at you with this quiet knowing, not judging, not criticizing, just seeing. And that seeing is worse than any criticism, because it means they know. They know you're pretending. They know you're scared. They know you're holding back. And the scariest part is, they don't seem to mind. They're not asking you to change. They're not asking you to be different. They're just waiting for you to drop the act, waiting for you to show up as you actually are. Ibn Arabi said that this is the gift of the soulmate. Not that they love you despite your flaws, but that they see your flaws and recognize them as part of the design. That the wound you carry, the fear you suppress, the pain you hide, it's all information. It's all part of why you're here. And the soulmate doesn't need you to be healed to accept you. They accept you in your brokenness because they understand that the breaking was necessary. That you're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be real, but being real is terrifying. Especially if you've spent your whole life being something else. Being what your parents wanted. Being what your friends expected. Being what society rewarded. You've become so good at being that version of yourself that you've forgotten what the real version even looks like. And then this person shows up, and suddenly you remember. Not in a clear, conscious way, but in a visceral, undeniable way. You remember that there's a part of you that's been buried, silenced, ignored, and their presence, without them saying a single word, calls that part forward. This is why being around them can feel exhausting. Because you're not just interacting with them, you're also wrestling with yourself, with the parts of you that want to emerge but don't know how, with the truth that wants to be spoken but feels too vulnerable, with the emotions that want to be felt but have been suppressed for so long that letting them out feels dangerous. Ibn Arabi called this the discomfort of awakening. When the soul is ready to shed what no longer serves it, the process is rarely gentle. It's disruptive, chaotic, uncomfortable. You might find yourself avoiding them, not because you don't like them, but because being around them is too much, too intense, too revealing. You need space, distance, time to rebuild the walls they effortlessly dismantle. But even when you're not around them, they linger. In your thoughts, in your dreams, in the quiet moments when you're alone and suddenly confronted with the version of yourself they saw, and you start to question everything. Who am I really? What have I been hiding? Why does this person make me feel so exposed? Ibn Arabi said that these questions are the beginning of transformation, that a soulmate doesn't arrive to give you answers. They arrive to make you ask the right questions, questions you've been avoiding, questions that lead you deeper into yourself, questions that dismantle the false identity you've been living from. And this process, this questioning, this dismantling, it's not romantic. It's not comfortable. But it's necessary. Most people romanticize the idea of a soulmate. They think it's someone who makes life easier, someone who takes away the pain, someone who completes them. But Ibn Arabi taught that completion is an illusion, that you're already whole. You just don't know it yet. And the soulmate's job isn't to complete you. It's to show you that you were never incomplete, that the wound you've been carrying, the pain you've been running from, it's not a deficiency. It's a doorway. And they're the one holding the door open, waiting for you to walk through it. But walking through that door requires something most people aren't willing to give: honesty. Not honesty with them, honesty with yourself. Because once you're in their presence, once you're stripped of the masks and defenses, you can't lie to yourself anymore. You can't pretend you're fine when you're not. You can't pretend you're happy when you're miserable. You can't pretend you're living authentically when you're not. Their presence forces you into a confrontation with your own truth. And that confrontation is what most people spend their whole lives avoiding. You might resent them for this. You might wish they'd never shown up. You might push them away, hoping that distance will bring back the comfort of pretending. But Ibn Arabi said that once the mirror is held up, you can't unsee what's reflected. The soulmate doesn't create the discomfort. They reveal it. They show you what was already there: the dissatisfaction, the misalignment, the disconnection from your own truth. And once you see it, you have a choice. You can continue pretending, continue numbing, continue avoiding. Or you can face it, feel it, transform it. This is the sign no one talks about. Not the butterflies, not the chemistry, not the sense of home, but the discomfort, the exposure, the feeling that this person sees you in a way that's both terrifying and liberating. Because deep down, beneath the fear of being seen, there's a relief. A part of you that's been waiting for someone to look past the performance, to see the real you, the messy, complicated, wounded, beautiful you. And when someone finally does, it's overwhelming. Not because it's bad, but because it's real. And real is something most people have lost touch with. Ibn Arabi said that not everyone you meet is a soulmate. But when you meet one, you'll know. Not because it feels easy, but because it feels necessary. Like this person was always going to show up. Like this discomfort was always going to surface. Like this confrontation with yourself was always part of the plan. And even if you don't understand it, even if you resist it, even if you wish it weren't happening, something inside you knows. This is exactly what you need. You don't need someone to validate you. You don't need someone to save you. You don't need someone to complete you. You need someone to see you fully, clearly, without judgment, and to hold space for the parts of you that are still learning how to exist without hiding. That's what a soulmate does. They don't make you better. They make you real. And real, messy, and uncomfortable as it is the only place transformation can happen. So if there's someone in your life who makes you feel this way, someone whose presence unsettles you, someone who makes you question everything, someone around whom you can't pretend, Ibn Arabi would say, don't run. Don't resist. Don't try to make sense of it with logic. Because this isn't about logic. It's about recognition. Soul recognizing soul. Truth calling to truth. And that call, uncomfortable as it is the greatest gift you can receive. Because it's the call back to yourself. The call to stop performing and start being. The call to drop the mask and show your face. The call to stop hiding and start living. And that's the sign. Not how they make you feel when everything is easy, but how they make you feel when everything is hard. When you're confronted with your own truth. When you can't hide anymore. When the masks fall and the walls crumble and all that's left is you, raw, exposed, real, if someone brings that out in you. If their presence alone forces you into that kind of honesty, Ibn Arabi would say, that's not just connection. That's a soul contract. And whether you understand it now or not, whether you welcome it or resist it, it's here for a reason. And that reason is always, always to bring you closer to the truth of who you really are.